All right, hi guys, we are on week 4 and we are going to be doing 2 letters again, B and R. So this week we're going to be doing a lot of movement. So one of the big things that you're going to need is a little bit of space. We're going to need enough space to do some animal walks, so like a hallway or a walkway where you can kind of have a little bit of room to go from one point of the room to the other point. If you don't have a lot of room, at the end of this video I will show you some alternatives for the animal walks and the rolling, because we're also going to be doing some rolling from one side of the room to the other. If you have a supply bag, the only thing that you're going to need in addition this week is a pencil and something to color with. I have markers today. If you do not have a supply bag, you are also going to need some shapes. You're going to need 2 little curves and 1 big line and 1 little line. To get those lines, you can either print out an extra one of these sheets and the R sheets and just cut out these shapes or use them as templates. Or if you don't have time and energy for that, I sometimes don't, you can use markers, and this would be your big line, 1 marker would be your little line, and we would just put 2 markers together like this for a little curve. So that should be able to make our letters. You are also going to need some dough, and you will actually need something kind of malleable. You can probably use the bread again, but it will be a little bit harder for this activity. So Play-Doh, salt dough. If you need the recipe for salt dough, it will be in video number 1. And then the last thing you'll need is about 15 small tokens. You can use like buttons, you can use pennies or any kind of coins, you can use beads of any kind, or even like if the child has some small toys or erasers, you could use those. Bingo chips, something from a board game, any kind of like little thing about that size. And then of course you'll also need to print out the worksheets. All right, let me show you those movements. Okay, so the first animal walk we're gonna do is a puppy crawl. A puppy crawl is just regular crawling, but if you don't have space, you can do something called a rocking horse, where you get in this position and you just rock back and forth. And I would just have the kids do it 10 times. And then they can pick up their piece and add it to the thing. The next one we're gonna do is a bunny hop, and that's pretty easy to adapt if you have a small space. All you have to do is jump in place with your feet together. You'll just jump 10 times. And that should be about the length of anybody's typical room. The next one is a snake crawl. If you don't have room, what you can do is a swim in place. So you're just gonna put your arms out in front of you and you'll kind of swim in place. Do that 10 times. So the snake. A crab walk. If you have limited room, I would just do a table pose. Hold that for 10. For the bear crawl, you're going to do a downward dog pose instead for 10 seconds. And penguin wobble, you can just do that in place. You're just going to stick your heels together and they'll just wobble back and forth for 10. And then finally, if you have limited space, for the rolling, they can just twirl. It won't work on their core as much, but it will still give them some good vestibular input.